Bro diets have the greatest track record of success for body composition and fat loss of any diet approach in the world. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. A quick reminder, if you guys will click the like button down below. If you are not following or subscribed, please do so. And if you guys would please leave me a comment under here, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's get over to the topic. And when I say this, I'm not saying other approaches don't work. I'm not saying people haven't used flexible dieting. I'm not saying people haven't used more balanced splits with even more fat in there, or even lower carb or ketogenic type diets to lose body fat. Look, there's a lot of approaches that work, but I think what people have to be aware of, and again, everyone who promotes any of these fad diets forgets this every single time. And it is really a problem for them. So like if someone is a vegan, or if someone is a carnivore, or someone's promoting, extreme keto is the only way, they have a problem. They've got a major problem, is that the traditional bodybuilder bro diet says that they are wrong, and it's produced way, way, way more jacked and shredded, absolutely shredded individuals than any other dietary approach on the face of the earth. So this is a problem for people who are looking at other approaches. And it's not saying their approaches can't work, but it's like, statistically speaking, we know what's produced the best physiques. And by best physiques, we mean lean muscle, low body fat. Okay? And that has been this approach. And it's not unreasonable that, again, the cultures around the world who tend to have low rates of obesity, low rates of diabetes, have similar eating patterns. So again, and what do we mean by bro diet? Bro diet, and it's typically thought of as, look, chicken, rice, broccoli. Okay, that approach. All right. Am I saying it has to be those specific foods? No, but that is a standard approach, or chicken, rice, vegetables. But here's the idea. All right, and this works consistently. It's almost always a lean animal protein, right? Lean protein, animal source. All right, so sorry vegans, you guys lose here, and we know why you lose. The data supports this. You guys can't compete with this. You can't, flat out. The research shows it. All right, a lean animal protein with calorie control coming from starchy carbohydrates. Okay, and then lots of vegetables. Okay, now fruits can also be employed here also, but what do we usually see? What is the general successful approach here? Fairly low fat. Any fats that you eat are healthy fats, if they're included at all. Animal source protein being a major staple, and then again, starchy carbohydrates are your main calorie control. Okay? So why is this so successful? Well, for obvious reasons. Where do we gain all of the body fat on our body? It all comes from dietary fat. You can convert some carbohydrate in relatively limited quantities to visceral fat around your organs. The data at this point, as science has gotten better and better and better at measuring, humans do not store carbohydrates as subcutaneous fat under any conditions that have been found, okay? Including carbohydrate overfeeding. Studies looking at all this, even carbon isotope testing, shows you gain zero body fat under your skin from carbohydrates. We cannot get it to occur in a human in the lab, even when they try. It doesn't happen. So if it doesn't happen, then you can kind of see why this approach works really, really well. It helps keep people lean because their dietary fat is kept fairly low. And if any fat is eaten, it tends to be healthy fats that tend to promote insulin sensitivity. So again, we come over to what's going on with that. Insulin sensitivity is your friend. All right. If you're trying to gain muscle or lose fat, keeping insulin sensitivity high is a benefit to you. But they're eating insulinogenic foods. And people say, well, I don't understand. Well, because when you lift weights and you're gaining muscle, Insulinogenic foods are anabolic. Insulin is beneficial to you in a healthy, functioning, metabolic human being. So if we're lifting weights and training, we're pushing the body in that direction. Insulin becomes your friend at that point. It's not a negative. And in fact, your body tends to produce way less of it. So if your foods are giving you some, it is feeding your muscle tissue. That is where it is going. Okay, so this sort of approach works really, really well. And the same thing with all of the carbohydrate there fuels training. So people who are chasing body composition are usually doing moderately to high volumes of resistance training. All right, carbohydrates fuel this. They fuel glycogen stores. Glycogen stores are beneficial for us having a higher energy turnover, a higher metabolic rate, full muscle tissue. So creating an anabolic environment in the muscle tissue, both in terms of recovery, all of these things. And then, of course, it's always a focus on lean protein. So the animal source protein, this is, again, what we need for anabolic signaling in the muscle tissue. This is what our muscle tissue is built out of. But it's not that we're using that much to build it. It's that the protein itself tends to be protein sparing. So in other words, it's muscle sparing. So it tends to protect muscle tissue during exertion, during training, even during phases where calories are reduced. In addition to it, some of the specific amino acids in there, when they're put in different combinations, produce anabolic signaling to signal muscle tissue to speed up muscle protein synthesis. And animal source proteins tend to have the best ratios of these. Okay, so what we're looking at is certain things like total content of branched chain amino acids, for example, in the context of a complete amino acid profile. Okay, so when you just add them on their own, they don't actually help. But when they're part of that matrix, yeah, we get superior anabolic signaling. This leads to better muscle protein synthesis. And then, of course, with this sort of diet, you fill in all your micronutrients with lots of vegetables. They then help with satiety. They help with controlling the blood sugar response from the starchy carbohydrates to some extent, more balanced level blood sugar levels, and then of course we get all the wonderful antioxidants and phytonutrients and things from a diet like this with lots of vegetables, which facilitates better recovery from training. Better recovery from training, we have higher energy outputs, okay, better muscle growth, and therefore our metabolic rate keeps going up. So this sort of dietary approach, what it ends up doing is pushing your metabolic rate and metabolic efficiency really, really high. And this is why it works just in general for losing body fat. You gain less body fat when you overeat. You lose body fat easily. Your metabolic rate is very high. It works.